Hey guys, Boris here. I am back with another video. I know it's been a couple months, school has been very time consuming, but summer starts next week for me, so hopefully I will start being a bit more active on here again, since I have more time. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a tier list on the 18 contestants on Castle Wars. No dungeon dwellers, not even ticket, just the contestants. Before I begin, though, I would like to give a little update on the first episode of the reboot. Don't worry, it's not canceled. I'm still working on it. I just haven't had that much time because of school. And I also made two big changes. One of them is that the show will no longer be animated on PowerPoint. I don't like animating on PowerPoint very much. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. And the other thing is, I'm hiring voice actors for Castle Wars. That's right. There will be voice acting in the reboot. And right now, I voice three characters. I voice Ticket, Marker, and Jari. And I got a few friends to voice some characters as well. So if you're interested, stick around. I'll probably have a video about that coming out in a few weeks. So, without further ado, let me explain how this tier list works. So, I've got 5 ranks here. S, A, B, C, and D. You might notice that there are 4 blank tiers here. I don't need them because there are only 18 characters and, it's not 80 characters, so I don't need this many tiers. I only need 5. So as you see here, we've got all 18 characters. This tier list was created by turtlegunner. He voices Platinum as well. He recommended Platinum. He recommended a ton of characters. He's a huge fan of the show. He also makes his own content, so if you want to check out what he does, I will send a link to his channel in the description if you want to check him out. So, since I like all the Castle Wars characters, I did not like all the characters in the Ultimate Winner and the Ultimate Winner Reloaded. So this tier list is going to work a little bit differently. I mean, besides the fact that I'm only ranking 18 characters, and this is not going to be an hour long. This is not going to be an hour long. Alright, so S, A, B, C, and D. S doesn't mean that I personally love them, like they're my absolute favorites. And D doesn't mean that they're bad. I love all of them. They're kind of like my children in a weird, twisted, demented sort of way. The point is, I like all of these characters. There is not a character here that I dislike. So basically, S is going to be like, who was the most interesting character? And D would be, who is the least interesting character to me? So I'm ranking this more on how much I thought they added to the show, rather than how much I actually like them, because I like all of them. So, I think that's pretty much all the ground rules. So, let's get into this. The first character I'm going to be ranking is Bagel. Ah, Bagel. Bagel is such a bland character. He was actually the first character I removed from the reboot. And a lot of the fans of Castle Wars agree with me on this. Bagel is a really, really boring character. So just for that, D. I mean, I eliminated Bagel because he had 0 plot relevance. So I'm sorry, Bagel. You're going to have to go to D. Blueprint. The thing with Blueprint is, I thought he was a really cool character when he first joined, but you might be thinking, hey, Boris, why is Blueprint not in the reboot, and why are bland characters like Flowerpot and Euro, and even Bottle Cap, Milk, Starry in there, instead of Blueprint? So I'm going to talk a little bit about Blueprint. Bagel doesn't require much analysis because he didn't do that much, but Blueprint requires a bit more analysis. So the thing with Blueprint is, I thought he was honestly pretty cool. But as the episodes went on, as I was making episodes 5 and 6 of the original Castle Wars, I started to realize that he was pretty much the same character as Scrolly, except Scrolly was better and Blueprint was just a gamer version of Scrolly. However, I do feel like he did provide some important things to the plot, and he also gave Scrolly someone else to interact with besides Ottoman and Starry. So I will give Blueprint a B. Because I don't think Blueprint's terrible. I don't think he was irrelevant. I just don't think he was relevant either. I don't think Blueprint was that relevant to the show. However, he did do some stuff. So, anyway, Bottle Cap. Bottle Cap is a character I feel does not have that much potential. You might be kind of shocked as to why I added her to the reboot. Um, Honestly, it's kind of to aid Briefcase's development. Bottle Cap exists to aid Briefcase's development. Briefcase is a much more developed character than Bottle Cap and would have continued to be. Actually, funny story how this was going to work. So, in the original Castle Wars, there was going to be a debut in episode 7. And then, obviously, that would have taken up the entirety of episode 7. So, episode 8 would have just been a challenge and then elimination. In episode 9, Bottle Cap would have been eliminated in episode 9. That's what would have happened. Because I was starting to run out of ideas for her. And, other bland characters like Flower Pot, Milk, Starry, I had ideas for them. Bottle Cap, I just kind of ran out of ideas for her, and I wanted to see Briefcase grow as a character without her. So Bottle Cap was actually going to be eliminated in episode 9 of the original. So I'll put Bottle Cap in B. However, she's kind of a low B because she didn't really contribute that much. However, like Blueprint, she wasn't irrelevant. She just wasn't very relevant. Now, Briefcase, on the other hand, was relevant. Now, she didn't do quite as much as the movers and shakers of the game. Marker, Fedora, Jari, kind of, I guess. But, she was still a relatively prominent character. You could tell that she had a strategic mind. I was planning on having her go really far. I don't exactly remember, but I think she was going to be on the podium in the rankings. So that would have been pretty fun. So, Briefcase, where would I put her? I would probably put her on A. Because there are still some problems I had with her character, like her complete change from pessimistic to kind of optimistic was completely out of the blue and something that I plan to kind of retcon in the reboot. Briefcase is just going to start out pessimistic again because, Castle Wars has been gone for a while. She's off her game a little bit. And it'll take longer for her to come back because I have definitely improved with writing since Castle Wars episode 6 came out almost a year ago. So, yeah, that's what I've got for Briefcase. Cushion. Cushion's kind of a weird character, honestly, because she was actually probably the closest out of the contestants who didn't get in the reboot, along with Blueprint, who didn't get in the reboot. And the reason for that is, I thought Cushion was kind of an interesting character. The reason for that being that she had an important role as kind of the swing vote in the Marker versus Fedora thing, or Marker versus Jari, or however you want to classify it. And you could also tell that it was really getting to her. She was starting to have a lot of stress in episode 4, and especially episode 5. She was still the overly nice character we all know her to be, but she was kind of overly stressed, and that's kind of a natural change. Cushion was working under pressure there. So, while I don't think she was the absolute best character in terms of the plot, I think she does have enough plot relevance that she gets a firm A. If there was room for one more female veteran in the reboot, I probably would have put Cushion in. I would have had to. Cushion was the only female character cut from the reboot, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's right. Alright, Frame. Okay, I love this guy. This guy's absolutely hilarious. And Frame actually has a voice actor right now. His current voice actor is Meese. Meese also makes his own stuff. One of those things that Meese makes is called Fast. And Fast has a character called Mossy Stone. Frame and Mossy Stone have the exact same voice. And it is absolutely hilarious. The voice Meese does for Frame is absolutely hilarious. Now, that's just in the reboot, and I've got some plans for Frame in the reboot, too, just not as much as some other characters that I'll talk about later. So Frame was kind of important, but also more of a side character. He was Fedora's henchman from episode 2 onwards, but I feel like Frame himself didn't play that much of a role, besides being kind of a swing vote like Cushion, being comic relief, despite the fact ton of people on my Discord server absolutely hate Frame. Tons of people say, Frame is my least favorite character. Oh my gosh, Boris, when are you going to eliminate Frame? Well, Frame probably would have been eliminated in episode 10 of the original Castle Wars. That gives him enough time to develop a bit. If I remember correctly, after Bottle Cap got out, there was going to be a viewer vote rejoin, and I'll give my thoughts on who won that when we get to more eliminated contestants. No, it was not Bagel or Bottle Cap. The next 3 characters that would have been eliminated would have been Frame, Gravy, and Cushion. I'm not sure in which order yet, but that probably would have been the final order. So consider Frame getting on episode 10, Gravy in episode 11, and Cushion in episode 12. So anyway, Frame was an important character, but I don't think he stood well on his own. He's kind of a high B. I'll put him higher than Blueprint and Bottle Cap. Actually, I'll put Bottle Cap higher than Blueprint as well because Bottle Cap was more of a relevant character. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I'll move Cushion down to B too. I'll make her a high B. I put Frame in the reboot because he's funny. Cushion didn't really have that much potential, and we already have 2 overly nice characters in Bottle Cap and Starry. So the next character, Gravy. An absolute fan favorite. I mean, I can see why. He's kind of funny. He's a voice of reason. But it just dawned on me. Gravy mocks depression. I mean, Gravy doesn't mock depression through his words. Gravy mocks depression by existing. And I just realized that. So in the reboot, I want to try to give him less depression and more like... I mean, I still want him to be depressed and whatnot, but I don't want him to be stereotypically depressed. I want him to have a reason to be depressed. And you will find out why he's depressed in the reboot and why he hates everything. Why? Well, he doesn't hate everything. He just doesn't care about anything. As for Gravy, I don't really feel like he contributed too much to the plot. He would have been an early boot if not for people wanting to keep him, to get out threats like Marker, Fedora, Bottle Cap, I guess, Frame. Gravy, as I said before, would have been out in episode 11, probably. So I will put him in C, actually, despite the fact that he is in the reboot and some characters like Cushion and Blueprint are not. And my reasoning for that is he didn't have as much plot relevance as Cushion or even Blueprint, and was more of a gimmick character than he was. However, he's really only in the reboot because of his massive fan favorite status. I'm not gonna lie here. Okay, Marker. I think we all know where she's going. She's going on S. She is the most developed character in Castle Wars. And I'm not saying, like, she had a huge arc or anything. It's just that her sudden change to villain, well, she didn't change to villain. She was a villain the whole time. But the fact that she was downplaying her villain status from episodes 1 to 5 was honestly really funny. And her kind of betraying Jari, no, she was definitely betraying Jari. Not kind of. And Cushion too. But mostly Jari. She hated Jari. The thing with Marker, though, is she didn't really have other layers to her personality. She will in the reboot. Because, you know, the reboot's going to be better than the original. I can guarantee that. But out of plot relevance and how interesting she was, Marker was probably the most interesting character in the original Castle Wars, except maybe Fedora, but Fedora's last on the list of characters that I have to rank. So I'll talk more about that when we get to Fedora. As for Marker, she will go on S rank. Milk. So Milk's kind of a complex character. The thing with Milk is that she kind of stood on her own until episode 4. Then she kind of became, you know, Fedora's ally. And she didn't really do much. And, I mean, she was kind of shown to be the smart character before then. But after episode 4, Fedora was kind of shown to be the brains of their whole operation, not Milk. Even though it was kind of established to be a group effort. However, I still think Milk had quite a bit of plot relevance. I think she was going to be on the podium too. Heck, I think she might have even won. I'm going to be honest. Milk would have won Castle Wars. Maybe. I'm not sure who would have won. I think it was Milk, Fedora, or Briefcase. I think those guys were going to be the final 3. Yeah. Milk is an A because while she didn't really have a front and center role as of the current episodes that exist right now. I mean, I'm not counting the reboot or any plans I had for her in the future. But right now, I'd put Milk at a high A. She'd probably be at S if she was more independent from Fedora. Jari. Oh boy. Jari. So, I voiced Jari, and you can probably imagine that Jari has a high-pitched voice. So you're probably wondering, hey, Boris, how the heck are you going to voice Jari? I'm going to pitch up my voice a little bit. But that's not important right now. What is important is, what the heck did Jari do? So Jari kind of ended up being this flop. I kind of expected Jari to be this tragic heroine in episode 5, but turns out everyone kind of hated Jari, which was kind of sad. I wanted to make Jari likable, and hopefully I can do that in the reboot, but to everyone it seemed that Jari was whining, "Oh no, my glass is broken! Ah!" Stuff like that kind of turned people off on her. I would probably put her at a high A, though, because she was a huge influence on the early plot. I would not put her at S, because obviously she got eliminated. And, spoiler alert, she wouldn't have won the viewer vote rejoin either. Personally, she's probably who I would have wanted to see rejoin in the viewer vote rejoin. Probably either her or Euro. I'll talk more about Euro later. Oh, actually, it's coming up pretty soon. Relatively soon. So, anyway, Jari, I'd put her at a high A because she had a lot of plot relevance. However, she was not a huge character due to her early boot. Now, Ottoman, I'd put at a C, kind of a high C. Once again, like Jari, he had some relevance to the plot, kind of being used as a potential pawn to marker. But overall, he really didn't do that much. Ottoman really should have done more, and I do plan on making him do more in the reboot. Scrolly, on the other hand, was a relevant character. I'll give him a low A. And here's why I give Scrolly a low A. His friendship with Ottoman was really cool. It felt like Ottoman was kind of a development tool for Scrolly, now that I think about it. Like, I always knew Ottoman was going to be an early boot. Scrolly, on the other hand, I knew he was going to go really far. I think I was going to give him 6th or something in the original. Yeah, I'll probably do some sort of elimination order video once the first episode of the reboot's out. I'll share what was left of episode 7 and the original PowerPoint draft of the reboot, all that stuff. I'll share that once that episode's out. So Scrolly actually stands really well on his own as a character. He's like this nice jock. I know one of my close friends on Discord says that Scrolly is his favorite character. And Scrolly's one of my favorites too. Scrolly is honestly a really cool character. He's a really nice character. He's got a good heart, but he's also athletic. He's not spineless. He's got a spine. That's what I like about Scrolly. Starry, on the other hand. Okay, so here's the thing about Starry. Starry is easily the most polarizing character in the entire show. A lot of people on my Discord server have named Starry as their least favorite character. It's either Starry, Frame, or Bagel. They're the least favorites. But ironically, on the other side, a lot of my relatives and family have named Starry as one of their favorite characters. In fact, if I remember correctly, both of my parents named Starry as their favorite character. So Starry's a very polarizing character. So what's up with Starry? What's her deal in the show? So she seems like this nice character, like this benefactor for Ottoman, even to the point where they're shipped together as a couple. There were no romantic undertones with Ottoman and Starry, guys. Seriously. None. So you guys can stop shipping them. Okay, I don't dislike you guys having that opinion. It does seem like they act like a couple at times. But most of the time, it just seems like they're really close friends. So I would not say that they're a couple at all. I disagree with your opinion there. So anyway, Starry was kind of a bland character. She didn't really do that much except for doing really well in challenges. So I would probably put her at a high B because she didn't have that much plot relevance. I mean, she had more plot relevance than Ottoman, but obviously she went kind of far and didn't really do that much in the existing episodes. Obviously, I've got plans for her in the reboot. She's going to do so much more in the reboot. I'm excited for you guys to see what she does. Next up, we got Tent. Oh boy, Tent. So you know how I was talking about that viewer vote thing earlier? Well, Tent would have won in a landslide. People absolutely love this character for some reason. I don't know why people love this character. I thought he was really boring. He barely did anything. But everyone else says, "Oh, Tent was so funny. He was such a random character. Boris, why did you eliminate Tent so early? That is a crime against humanity." Well, I eliminated Tent early because he had 0 plot relevance. He was a boring character to me. He barely did anything. Except, sort of establish Frame as a character by Frame calling him a tree that one time in episode 1. He did do more than Bagel, and he kind of let cushion talk to Jari in episode 3. So he'll be a low C. Bagel's the only one that'll be on D. No one is as bland as Bagel in the original. Traffic light. Oh boy. Traffic light. So the thing with traffic light is, there are a lot of traffic light characters in object shows, usually have the same personality as the one from Castle Wars. There's the red one that's always angry. I mean, the red traffic light character in Castle Wars isn't always angry. He's just kind of a depressed. I mean, he's not depressed. He's just doesn't seem to care about much. He's like Gravy in a way. Yellow is like meh to everything. Yellow just says meh. Yellow says nothing else. Yellow doesn't care at all. And green is the overly happy and joyful one. That's pretty generic. Why'd I add this character again? Oh, yeah. And still, people wanted Traffic Light to be in the reboot. And I said, no, Traffic Light's a very generic character. And Traffic Light didn't have that much plot relevance except for when they made friends with Gravy that one time. So he had more... there's 3 of them. So he had... I keep calling them he's. Sorry, it's confusing because 1, it's one character. 2, all 3 of them are male. And 3, it's kind of hard to tell what you're looking at because you can only see yellow, green's eyes, and red's smile. Why are these Google Slides assets so bad? I promise you, they're going to be so much better in Adobe Animate. Alright, cool. 3 more characters. And this is nowhere near an hour long. I'm very happy about that. Euro, the first boot. Now, some of you might wonder why I put Euro in the reboot. You're going to find out why I put Euro in the reboot soon. He's got some potential. So Euro, I would put at a low C. Yeah, he's better than Tent, worse than Gravy, though. So, the thing with Tent... I called him Tent, darn it! Okay, the thing with Euro is he didn't do that much. He was the first boot, kind of seemed like a decent enough guy. I mean, if not easily annoyed, extra classy, but unlike Fedora, he didn't play it up. He was just super classy and just didn't approve of unclassy things like Frame calling Tent a tree for some reason. However, I feel like he did develop a little bit from his friendship with Domino while he was in the dungeon. And I think that bumps Euro up from a high D to a low C. And I think Euro would benefit from a rejoin, or in this case, another chance. I can confirm this right now. Euro is not one of the first 3 boots in the reboot. Euro's going to be perfectly fine. You'll see some development from him, I promise. Alright, next up, we got Flower Pot. And Flower Pot's another one that everyone's just saying, hey, why did you add Flower Pot? She's such a bland, boring, stupid character. She's just like Jari, except not plot relevant. She's just like Jari, except not relevant to the plot. Now here's the thing about Flower Pot. She is probably the character I have the most plans for in the reboot. I have so many plans for Flower Pot in the reboot. I think she's going to do a lot. I'm going to be fair here. So I would put her at a low B instead of a high C because, I mean, obviously Marker would try to use her as a pawn, and even in the original, I had plans for her, which I will include in the reboot, actually. So you'll still get to see some of that character development, and also why Flower Pot's kind of shy, scared of pretty much everything. You guys will all get answers to that, don't worry. Flower Pot will not be left in the dust. Finally, last but definitely not least, Fedora. In fact, this is probably the most universally liked character in the entire show. He is an S, and the reason why he's an S, I mean, come on, he's a mastermind behind the whole thing. He's had some bland moments, like he got a little soft in the last couple episodes when he wasn't really supposed to be. That kind of went outside his personality, but also shows you Fedora's kind of like a human. He's got this classy side, but he's also got this nice, compassionate side. And even though it wasn't something I really intended to do, I'm kind of glad Fedora came out that way. However, I think that on the other end, Fedora got a little bit too nice. Like, the classiness was gone. He was either just yelling at Marker or being nice to his alliance or something. So I feel like in the reboot, I want to make Fedora a bit more classy like he used to be, playing up his classiness, because a lot of people seem to like that. I mean, he's still a fan favorite character. Everyone loves Fedora. I have not met anyone. Oh, wait, hold on. There was one guy who voted for Fedora to be eliminated in episode 4, despite the fact that there was no viewer voting. There's no viewer voting. It's a contestant voting show. But overall, I would say Fedora had a lot of plot relevance. He was a very important character. He was a mastermind behind quite a few of the eliminations. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, he masterminded Euro's elimination. I think he helped out with Tent's elimination. He definitely helped out with Jari's, but he didn't vote for Jari. He tried to save Jari. He probably helped with Ottomans, too. Yeah, he did help with Ottomans. He would have helped with bottle caps, too, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, that's my tier list for the original Castle Wars characters. As I said before, this does not involve any of the failed debuters from the original, or any dungeon dwellers, or any of the newbies in the reboot. If you guys like this video, turtlegunner also made a tier list for the dungeon dwellers. So if you guys like this, I will do that tier list in the future. So I'm probably going to be way more active on here in the future because obviously I'm not that active on Scratch anymore. And I'm open to requests. So if you want to see me do something, just say it in the comments and I'll consider it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you soon. This is Boris, signing out.